Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We're going to talk today about something all of us experience every single day, and you can control it, and if you do, you're okay, because some of it's good, but too much of it is bad. Too much of a good thing, too much of a bad thing. Here, we're going to talk about how stress promotes disease. Now, normally we talk about the food, how it affects disease, how viruses, germs, bacteria, the nervous system, if it's not functioning properly, can promote disease. But today we're going to talk about how stress promotes disease, or how stress can actually help. Certain amount of stress is actually good for you, but too much is where the problem comes in. So psychological stress has a tremendous role in your health. One of the reasons this is because stress causes inflammation. And inflammation is part of every disease known to humanity, from obesity to diabetes to heart disease to cancer. So many people have this inflammatory lifestyle. I know it sounds like a psychological thing, but it's also a chemical thing. It's an emotional thing. And so inflammation can actually enhance or speed up disease processes. And a friend of mine, and she had a pretty bad diet. She'd eat cheese and wine every night for dinner, and she ate the typical American diet. And after we became friends, she started following a lot of my advice. She switched over to more plant-based diet. She's given up the meat. She's given up the alcohol. And now she goes, when I hug people, they feel mushy or inflamed. And I know what she's talking about. And if you've ever hugged somebody who eats a good diet and has a good lifestyle, they have a different feel about them as opposed to somebody who doesn't. And that inflammatory condition not only is in the outside, it's also on the inside. So most recently, a study done on mice found that when animals were chronically stressed, their lymphatic system underwent changes which allowed cancer to spread through the body. Now, what's the lymphatic system? You need to know this because this is important, and I didn't know it for years. I remember being young and people talk about the lymphatics or swollen glands. You ever get sick and you have swollen glands? Those are lymph glands. The lymphatic system is a filter system. It filters junk out of your body. So if you have viruses, germs, bacteria, pathogens, the immune system attacks it, the white blood cells attack it, and then it has to get filtered out. What do we do with this dead pathogen? Well, it goes through the lymph system. The lymph glands filter it out, break it down, and then pass it out of the body. And if you're putting too much into the lymph glands, they're like filters, they can get clogged up. And when they get clogged up, they inflame, and that's called a swollen gland. So when you have a lot of inflammation in the body, the lymphatic system changes, and this is one way that disease can actually spread through your body. It's a highway, and it goes along the lymphatics, and that's how one way cancer can actually spread. And it's interesting, the research on cancer now, for years it was cut it out, burn it, radiate it, whatever we got to do to kill the cancer cells. But my argument was, and I'm not against doing that if you have to, my argument was you're treating the symptom. You're not treating the cause. And the cause is these cells have become mutated. And what happens is with cancer cells, or a healthy cell I should say, a healthy cell has a life cycle. It's born, it does its thing, and when it stops becoming useful to the host, you, the body, it goes through something called apoptosis. Apoptosis is when the cell commits suicide. It kills itself. And so this way we can generate new, young, healthy cells. And then that cell goes through the process. In cancer cells, it's not going through this apoptosis. It doesn't kill itself. And so it continues to grow, and these bad cells, these abnormal mutant cells, continue to multiply. And they start to multiply, and they start to take over parts of the body. That's called cancer. And one way the cancer can actually spread is these unhealthy cells can get into the lymphatic system, travel through the body, and set up shop somewhere else. So now we start to have a problem, because we're spreading cancer through the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system becomes a better highway when you have a lot of inflammation, according to this research done on mice. Now, the study hasn't been replicated in humans yet, but it's a huge step toward understanding how stress, which has long been linked to cancer progression, actually allows tumor cells to escape and spread. And just like with cell phones, just like with Wi-Fi, we know these things are bad, but the research now is showing why. It's just like eating right. I remember my German grandparents they would, whenever they'd make bean soup, they'd add apple cider vinegar to it right after it was cooked, right before you ate it. And I remember asking my grandmother one time, why do you put apple cider vinegar in there? I was a little kid at the time. And she said, well, I know it makes it taste good, but I don't know. Everyone always does that in Germany. Well, now we know that apple cider vinegar can help stimulate your digestive system or help your digestive system work better. It puts good bacteria into your colon, and it alkalizes your system, and your body works well when it's slightly alkaline. So they knew how to do it. They just didn't know why they were doing it. Same thing with diseases. We know that Wi-Fi and cell phones can change the molecular structure, can allow cells to open up and allow calcium to dump into the cell, which then, through a chain reaction, creates free radicals, which damage the DNA. A lot of chemistry there, right? But we knew it did it. We didn't know how, and now we know that it opens up the calcium channels and lets the calcium in. We knew that the lymphatic system was related to cancer spread, and now we're finding out that this could be the mechanism. So not for a minute are we suggesting that somebody who's been diagnosed with cancer should not be stressed out, because what's one of the most stressful things you can do? Find out you have cancer. If you have no stress, that's bad too. You have to have a healthy amount of stress. Well, what we want to do is look after people with chronic diseases like cancer, because this study suggests that stress not only affects patients' well-being, but also gets into the body and affects the tumor progression. So you got to have stress, but you have to learn how to monitor it and manage it. That's the key. Cancer cells typically spread through the body via the blood vessels or through the lymphatic system. Stress hormones affect both of these pathways or channels. So when you stress, you release hormones, and that can be a problem. And here we are, we're trying to determine how stress hormones affect the spread of cancer through the lymphatic system. The mechanism they found is related to a way adrenaline activates what's called the sympathetic nervous system. You have two types of nerves in your body. Sympathetics speed you up, and parasympathetics slow you down. So when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, it releases adrenaline, and that increases the rate of lymphatic formation, or lymph is the fluid in the lymphatic system. It produces more. Now, the adrenaline causes physical changes in the lymph glands, and this allows cancer cells to migrate into other parts of the body faster. So it's making more lymph, more fluid, and it's making it flow faster. National Cancer Institute also previously stated that research with animal models suggests that your neuroendocrine response, release of hormones into your blood in response to the stress on the nervous system, can directly alter important processes in the cells that help protect against the formation of cancer, such as DNA repair and the regulation of cell growth. So these neuroendocrine hormones are being released, and it's changing how your body heals itself. So not only are we spreading it, we're preventing your body from healing as well. Norepinephrine is a chemical, and that can stimulate tumor cells to produce compounds that break down the tissue around the cancer cells, and that allows the cells to move through the blood system. Because if you have a tumor and it's encapsulated, that's a good thing. But when the tissues around it start to break down, now the cells can escape. So the bottom line is that when you're under stress, chemical, emotional, physical stress, it changes the hormones in your body, which now allows your body to become sick, and it prevents you from healing as well. Epinephrine is another stress hormone, has been found to cause changes in certain cancer cells, specifically prostate and breast cancer, in ways that makes them more resistant to apoptosis. Remember apoptosis, when a cell commits suicide, kills itself? So what the epinephrine, the stress hormone, is preventing the cells from killing themselves. So emotional stress can both contribute to the development of cancer and reduce the effectiveness of the treatments. So in cancer research, like we said, it used to be cut it out, burn it, chemotherapy it. Now a lot of the research is leaning toward immunotherapy, getting your immune system healthy so that you then can fight off the cancer or any disease. Now this is something that I've been talking about 35 years now. The immune system is the key to getting well and staying well. And you do things all day, every day to weaken your immune system. You're under stress, mental, chemical, emotional stress, physical stress. Anybody in pain? Raise your hands. Yeah. If you're in pain, that releases things like epinephrine and causes inflammation. Pain is stressful. You have a financial situation, you have a bad relationship, you have family crisis, you have job problems. So these stresses can allow your body to get sick. Now, as a chiropractor, my team of doctors and I, we working on the physical stress. You have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling. We find out why you're having the pain. And in most cases, it's a pinched nerve. We had a case the other day, we see this a lot, but a case just comes to mind. Came in, we took an x-ray, which was important to take an x-ray. I don't know why doctors don't. And we saw that the hip was being eaten away. And we didn't know what it was. We sent it out to a radiologist. Radiologist said, yeah, this looks like it's cancer. And we sent the person on to an oncologist. So it wasn't a chiropractic case. But had we not done our diagnostics and had we not done the procedures that we do in our offices, we would have never found this. Luckily, we found it early. Hopefully, the patient will be fine. But pain is usually due to a pinched nerve. He's the exception. Good thing we found it. We sent him out. He was so thankful. Thank you, thank you. I've been to all those other doctors. They kept giving me pain pills and they kept giving me injections. It wasn't helping. Not against all of that. But had the doctor done the proper diagnostics, they would have never gone to that point. They would have found this sooner. So you want to try to get to the cause of your problem, not just treat the symptoms. Just like the new research in cancer therapy. Get the immune system working so that it can fight off these things, as opposed to killing it off after it occurs. Let's see if we could prevent it from happening. So, not surprisingly, psychological stress can take a toll on things like your heart as well. Your heart actually contains neurons or nerves similar to those in your brain, and your heart and your brain are very closely connected. I mean, you think about that. I had a broken heart. Well, you didn't have a broken heart. Really, you had a broken brain because you process emotions in your brain. But because the brain and the heart are so closely related, sometimes you feel it. You don't have pain fibers in your brain. You can feel it in your heart. So when you have a broken heart, it's really a neurological condition in your brain, but it's showing up as a symptom in your heart. That's where that phrase comes from. One factor that causes significant amount of stress for many is their job. This is according to new recent research. There's a dose-dependent relationship between the number of hours you put in each week and your risk of developing heart disease. So the more you work and the more stress you have at work, the higher the risk of heart disease. How many people get stressed out at work? Raise your hands. We all do. However, a little bit is okay, but when it's constant, that's where the problems come in. Another research points out that Americans are more stressed out than ever before. In 2012, Carnegie Mellon University researchers reported that stress levels increased as much as 30% between 1983 and 2009. So a 30% increase in stress. More recently, in 2014 and 15, average stress levels rose from 4.9 to 5.1 on a 10-point scale. This is according to the American Psychological Association. The greatest increase was noted among young adults reporting being under extreme stress. This category rose from 18% to 24%. So the younger you are, the more stress you're having. And that's a big problem. So you want to stay healthy so that you can deal with the stress better. This is the key sentence. You want to stay healthy so you can deal with the stress better. I can't change the fact that you have a horrible boss. I can't change the fact that your significant other is a jerk. I can't change the fact that you have a financial situation or that your family is challenging. But I can change the way your body deals with the stress. We're all under stress. Why is it some people do better than others? Chances are they're going to be a lot healthier. So you stay healthy by having three things: a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. That's the key. That's the cornerstone of a healthy body and a healthy program. It's a healthcare plan, not an insurance plan. A healthcare plan. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Everybody's yelling and screaming about the healthcare plan and who's going to pay for it. Are we taking away subsidies? Are we giving more subsidies? Are the insurance companies ripping you off? Where's your money going? Your deductibles are higher, your copays are higher, and yet you're getting less treatment. Doctors are dropping out of practice left and right. Nobody wants to be a doctor anymore. Well, nobody I know anyway. They want to be it. They're just frustrated with it. And so what's going on? Where's all this money going? Your premiums are through the ceiling. Where's that dollar that you're spending going? I don't know that answer. But it's stressful to me too, because patients come in and say, oh, my insurance company said that they're only going to pay for blank. And all my doctors, medical, chiropractic, neurosurgeons, everybody says the same thing. You might bill for this. You're getting a fraction of what you're billing for. So doctors are saying, why am I doing this? I could be a computer programmer, make more money, work 40 hours a week and have no stress. Why would I want to be a doctor? Well, I care about my patients. Yeah, that only goes so far, folks. Let's get real. And so the stress is coming up for the doctors as well. They're dropping out of practice. And so what we're talking about when we talk about healthcare in the political world is not healthcare. They're talking about who's paying for the healthcare. You, unfortunately, now, or fortunately, have to take responsibility for your own health. If you don't, I promise you, I've never been wrong with any of my predictions in 35 years in healthcare. I promise you in 10 years from now, it's going to be a real tough time finding a doctor's appointment because doctors just don't want to do it anymore. So now the conversation is going to have to switch from how can we force people, which we can't, to become doctors. Nobody wants to do it. So something's going to have to change again. So now more than ever, you have to take control of your own health. If you can have a healthy, normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition, you are way ahead of everybody else when it comes to healthcare. So folks, if you have a healthcare problem and you'd like for my team of doctors to help coach you through it, if you'd like to be our patients, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we will set you up a time to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Bring your children. It's important that children start out healthy because who's the most stressed out group? The younger generation. We'll check your nervous system. We'll check your digestive system. We'll talk about your diet, and we'll do what we can to help get you well and keep you well. So if you want information on how to make an appointment, what to expect when you come in, go to my website. You can book an appointment online or you can give us a call. The number's on the website. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. I have never seen a car accident ever where the car was damaged and the occupants weren't. Ever. So if your car was damaged, I don't care what the insurance company is telling you, you were hurt. And you need to get that fixed. So again, to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we will get you set up right away so we can help you get well and stay well. So we see the stress popping up everywhere. Chronic stress puts stress on your adrenals, which can lead to what's something called adrenal fatigue. Now, your hormones produced by your adrenal glands control a number of bodily functions, including what's called the fight or flight response to stress. When you're under stress, adrenaline kicks in, your pupils dilate, hair stands up on your end, food is taken away from you, blood is taken away from your digestive system to your muscles, and you're ready to fight or run. Either way, it's going to try to save your life. That short term is okay. That process long term, you're stressed every day, you're sitting in traffic, you hate your job, you hate your spouse, your children are driving you nuts, you don't have the money that you need. This long term stress on the adrenals eventually causes the adrenals to essentially burn out. And when adrenal glands burn out, that leads to adrenal fatigue. Some of the symptoms you might see: bags under your eyes, chronically tired, have to have coffee or some type of stimulant every day, losing pleasure in life, not enjoying things like romance, your children, going for a hike. The things that you used to enjoy, you're not enjoying anymore. So these are signs of adrenal fatigue. And when the adrenal glands burn out, many times we have to get people on supplements. We have to deal with their stress, physical, chemical, or emotional, and we get them on supplements. I take 2 adrenal supplements every single day. I take Withenia and I take Eleuthero. Now, I don't do animal products. Okay, I eat a whole plant-based diet. But if somebody does eat animal products, you can also take what's called glandulars. And glandulars are glands. They're adrenal glands dried up and put in a pill. And that works well also. So it depends on the person. It depends on the lifestyle, what supplements specifically I recommend. I always recommend you take at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. These are 2 supplements, and I talk about it every show because I believe that I can talk about this nonstop. Because I have to let each and every one of you know this is the minimum amount of nutrients that you need. There are 2 powders. I mix them with coconut milk, almond milk. I have it sitting right in front of me here at the studio. And I drink it at least once a day. And I feel great when I take it. My brain works better because people always ask, if I do live lectures, if I'm doing a live radio show, and people call in with questions, how do you know the answer? How does your brain work that fast? My brain isn't any better than yours. My brain is just taken care of. And I want you to start taking care of your brain and your body. This is the only one we have. So if you want to get information on Super Greens and Essential Source, it's on my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world. Or we also have an Amazon account. So if you have an Amazon page, so if you have an Amazon account, you could order it there too. Folks, do it every day. Do it religiously. Make the commitment. I'm going to do this every day for 30 days. And you'll see what happens. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then you'll say, yeah, this is something I want to add to my life forever, because that's the cool part. It's a quick, easy, inexpensive way to get the minimum amount of nutrients that you need and make you feel good. And then when you feel good, what do? You exercise more. You're better to your people. You're better to your coworkers. You're better able to handle stress. And so when the stress comes along, which it's going to, you're better able to handle it. So oftentimes anxiety and panic attacks are an indication that your adrenal glands are burned out. So if you're having panic attacks or you're stressed out, we may need some adrenal supplements. Lingering unresolved negative emotions such as anger, fear, guilt, and depression. This can put stress on your adrenal glands. Overworked, including physical and mental strain. I've had many people over the years come to me, athletes, that overtrain. And I need to pull them back from their training. Like, doc, I got to work out every day. I used to know a gal, and she would run 20 miles a couple of times a day, a couple of times a week, and then do yoga. Well, what happened was it really speeded up the aging process for her. She was producing too many free radicals, which eat away. Free radicals are like Pac-Man. They eat away at things. And it really aged her. So what she was trying to do was stay young and healthy and pretty. Actually, was a reverse occurring. So there's that, what we call the Goldilocks zone of everything. The Goldilocks zone is just right. If you're sleep deprived, that becomes an issue. If you work the night shift, you often sleep late. In the mornings, you should you sleep when it's dark, be awake when it's light is the ideal scenario. Chronic inflammation, infections, illness, pain. These are all stressors on the body. And that's why as chiropractors, my team of doctors work toward relieving the pain, getting the cause of the pain, and not just treating the symptoms. Most of our patients are very compliant. Every now and then we meet a patient who knows more than we do. Well, I got a few adjustments and I felt better, so I'm not going back. Well, that's good. However, 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve or a malfunctioning nerve and not know it. And that's where the problems come in. People think, well, I'm not in pain, I don't have a problem. High blood pressure doesn't hurt. Cancer doesn't hurt. Diabetes doesn't hurt. Anemia doesn't hurt. Sickle cell anemia doesn't hurt. So you see, you want to check things and monitor them, your blood pressure, your spleen, your kidneys, but you also want to check your nervous system because that controls everything. Now, there's different ways you can measure adrenal function. And one thing we do here in the office is we do a saliva test. And we give you little tubes, and you basically spit in a tube, is for lack of a better word to do it. And we can measure your stress level. Because what's supposed to happen is you have a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol raises in the morning. That's what wakes you up. And as the day goes on, your cortisol level starts to drop. And when the cortisol level drops to a certain point, then you go to sleep. Melatonin kicks in, overrides the cortisol, and you sleep. In the morning, the melatonin drops, cortisol raises, and you wake up. That's a normal hormone cycle. If we can monitor your cortisol level throughout the day and it's not dropping, that means you're under a lot of stress. Cortisol is one of your stress hormones. And we may need to do things, get you on supplements, look at your diet. Maybe you're eating a lot of alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweeteners, sugars, like breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. And we may have to monitor that. Then we get you on supplements. Then we check your spine. If you have pinched nerves, we want to unpinch the nerves to get the body working properly. Get you on supplements, at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, probably more. Maybe some adrenal supplements, maybe some heart supplements, maybe some digestive supplements. And so now we put together a care plan, a protocol to follow. Because most people, when they come in our offices, and I've been doing this for 32 years now in practice, plus my education, they don't have a plan. Well, I went to the doctor and he told me I had pain. He gave me some shots, and that's okay if you need it. I said, so what's the long-term plan? I don't know. More shots, more pills. We try to get to the cause of the problem. So if you do come in as a patient, folks, we'd love to have you, but make sure you do what we say. Be ready to make some changes. I know you may not do everything, but be ready to do something because we want to get you well and keep you well. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world, and you can do it online. You can call us. We accept people with all insurances. We work with around your insurance parameters. We accept people without insurance, car accidents, sports injuries. I've never seen a car damaged where the occupants weren't. You're not tougher than solid steel. So if the car was damaged, your body whipped around inside the car and it was damaged too, whether it was yesterday or if it was 20 years ago. You need to get that fixed. Athletes, no one can be an athlete and not have injuries. No one. And so that's why I want you, if you're working out, to build up strong muscles around straight bones, not strong muscles around crooked bones. Folks, the website again, drjoeesposito.com. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, folks, I'm so glad that you're with me today. We're talking about how stress is related to chronic disease. And when I talk about stress, chemical stress, physical stress, emotional stress, and how if you have a disease, or if you want to prevent yourself from having a disease, you really want to monitor the stress. Now, emotional stress, we all have it. Death of a loved one is the number one stressful thing that we can go through as a human. What's the number two stressful thing we go through as humans? Any idea? Dr. Hans Selye did this research out of Canada. Number two, moving. Now, moving to a new house, moving to a new job, moving to a new relationship, or moving out of a relationship, these are all stressful conditions that we go through. And so we all do it every day. So what do you do about it? If you keep your body healthy, if you keep your body functioning at the top that it possibly can, when these emotional stresses come in, the death of a loved one, moving, job processes, job opportunities changing, relationships changing, car breaking down, you're running late, you're sitting in traffic, your body's better able to deal with these things. Because there was a song a while ago, I think it was, oh gosh, what was it? The Boomtown Rats, right? I don't like Mondays was the name of the song. And the line in the song was, and the silicon chip inside her head was switched to overload. This is back in the 80s, I think, so you knew about silicon chips back then. But that's what it is. Your brain is a circuit, and if it short circuits or burns out, now you start having serious issues. And so we got to keep the computer in your brain running the best it possibly can. And the way we do that is reducing the physical stress. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, again, my team of doctors, chiropractors, we work on getting the pain reduced. Then we work on the chemical stress. We look at your diet. Hey, listen, I know you like eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. We all do. I did. Haven't done it in 30 years. But what can we do? How can we gently change that and modify it so that you're happier and you eat better foods? And it's easy to do. I teach you how to do that. Take supplements. I don't care where you are in this world, chances are you're going to need supplements. You're getting bombarded with electromagnetic frequency. You're getting bombarded with pollution, stress, noise, not getting enough sleep. And so I take something called Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source every day, at least once a day. You should too. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you can see all information about that, about Super Greens, Essential Source. Other supplements have intestinal cleanser, to get the bowels moving, immune booster, to help the immune system work better. We have things if you get a cold, what to do about it. It's a really neat little product we have there as well. My books are on the website, also on Amazon. If you have an Amazon account, you can go there and get it. But our goal is to give you all the tools you need to get well and stay well. I archive all my radio shows. I archive my live lectures. I make videos and put them on my YouTube channel. Why do I do that? I do that because, and I don't charge you for it, I do that so that you can get the tools you need to maintain good health. I don't want to keep this as a secret. I know these things. I want to share them with you. So let's talk about things that you need to do to help control your stress. Sleep. Sleep is a big one. Sleep deprivation dramatically impairs your body's ability to deal with stress and is another risk factor for things like heart disease. So make sure you get adequate sleep because it's the key to a successful stress management program. But the irony of that statement is that when you're under stress, it's really hard to sleep. So now we're in a catch-22. So what do we do about it? Well, there are certain tricks you can do to sleep well. One of the tricks that a lot of patients thank me for is they say, well, doc, I sleep okay, but then I wake up and I have to pee. And I said, okay, so what do we do about that? Well, I personally have that same problem. I stop drinking around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, I'll have a sip or two if with dinner or something like that, but I don't drink a lot of fluid past 3 o'clock. And the reason is that then I can process the fluids and I can sleep through the night. If for some reason I do drink a lot in the evening, I'm going to wake up. It is what it is. Now, when you're young, really young, teenagers, you got bladders that are made of steel. It's like a steel trap, and you could sleep through 12, 15 hours, I think. Because I remember being a kid waking up and going, wow, I drank a lot last night. Look at how I slept through the night. It's going to happen as you get older. The bladder, like all muscles, are going to get weaker. So that's a little trick. Make sure it's dark in your room. Have blackout shades put up in your bedroom. If that doesn't work and you can't afford that or it's not practical, get yourself a mask. You can go to a drugstore and buy a sleep mask for $5. That'll keep it dark, because any light going through your eyes can shut down your production of melatonin. And melatonin is the thing that helps keep you sleeping. And if the melatonin shuts down, then the cortisol rises, and cortisol wakes you up. So it's got to be dark. It's got to be quiet. If you have trouble sleeping due to noise, get yourself some earplugs. Try that. Temperature is important. 68 to 72 degrees is the best temperature. Some people find they sleep better with socks. Some people find they sleep better without socks. Find out what works for you, and then do that, because sleep is going to be so important. If you drink any type of stimulants, coffee, chocolate, I'd strongly recommend that you stay away from that if you can, because it has something called a half-life, and the half-life is something that's going to get into your system. Half-life is how long the caffeine is in your body, and caffeine has a 12-hour half-life. So if you drink coffee in the morning, it's going to be 12 hours before half of it is out of your system. So sleep is important. If you don't know how to meditate, learn. I'm going to teach you right now. Ready? Here we go. I want you to inhale. If you can do this, I want you to take an inhale for a count of 4, a slow count of 4. Okay? So inhale for a slow count of 4. Hold it for a count of 1. And then exhale for a count of 5. That's a nice breathing technique. Now, there's many forms of meditation. It can be prayer. It could just be concentrating on your breathing. A lot of different things you can do. But you need to do something to help relax the body. And years ago, I remember when I was in college, I studied meditation with my friend Frank, fellow chiropractor, and he taught me transcendental meditation. And I told my mother, here I was 21 years old, I think, and I said, I'm going to learn transcendental meditation. Oh my gosh, you would have thought I was killing children. Oh, you're going to sell all your worldly possessions. You're going to face east. You're going to follow the gurus in India. This is not normal. This is not good. Well, now it turns out meditation's being taught in medical school, chiropractic school, psychiatry schools. So at first it's shunned. I forget the process that things happen. First it's shunned, then it's made fun of, and then it's ostracized, and then it's accepted. I don't remember the exact steps it goes through. But yeah, so at first it was like, oh my gosh, this is what the hippy dippies are doing. Well, now it's accepted. Activity is important. Your body is designed to move. Your brain needs 3 things. It needs oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition. And so in order for the brain to get oxygen, stimulation, and nutrition, you have to keep it moving. And so how do you do that? Well, walk. Get up and move around. When I do my radio shows and do my lectures, I stand. Right now I'm standing. So just standing, just staying in motion is going to be very helpful to keep your brain working and help reduce the stress. Laughter is important. If you have to watch TV, maybe you might want to switch over from watching these drama shows or these crime scene shows and watch comedies. Because even though you may not laugh out loud, comedy, lighthearted things are very good for the brain. Music is great. What kind of music do you like? If you like classical music, you like something mellow, that's wonderful. You know, I love Barry Manilow. I'm one of the few men that can say that and proudly say, I like Barry Manilow. I like Barry Manilow. I like a band called 10,000 Maniacs. But then I like rock music too. You know, I like the Rolling Stones. I like The Who. So find a music that you enjoy and something that makes you relax. Aromatherapy works very well. You can put essential oils around your house. Lavender is something that's very relaxing to the body. And in fact, if you put it, pure lavender is a little rough. You mix it with an oil, like a coconut oil or olive oil. You can even rub some natural essential oils on your feet, like lavender oil. Rub it on your feet. It gets absorbed into the body. Now, chemical stress we have to address as well, because chemical stress can put a strain on the body. Now, chemical stress would be alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener. I call them the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. Breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. These are chemical stresses. We've got to be careful with them as well. Digestive stress. Because we're talking about today how stress affects chronic diseases. And you think about stress as just emotional, but there's these other ones as well. Digestive stress. Do you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating? That's digestive stress. Your stomach's job is to take proteins and break them into something called amino acids. Now, the amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin helps you focus and calm down. Dopamine gives you pleasure. Norepinephrine is produced by GABA. And GABA also produces, glutamine produces GABA and norepinephrine. And norepinephrine gives you energy, and GABA helps suppress other nerves and helps suppress pain. So many of our pain management patients, when they come to see us, and we see a lot of pain patients in our offices, they come to us and we do a nutritional workup. And many times they look at us like, I don't care about nutrition. I want to get out of pain. But if your body isn't producing its own natural painkillers, it's going to slow down and impede your progress on getting well. So if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, many times the stomach is pushed up into the diaphragm. And if the stomach is pushed up into the diaphragm, you're not able to digest your food properly. And so now we have a problem. So we want to, many times, have to massage the stomach or pull it down away from the diaphragm. If you go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, look under, I think it's under blog, and right under there it'll say Dr. Joe's articles. I think it's the 5th or 6th one down. I wrote an article on gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. Read that. It talks about the techniques that we use in our offices to massage the stomach and pull it down away from the diaphragm so it can relax and work properly. We get patients from all over the world come in just to have us work on their digestive system. That's how big this is. Number one reason we see patients is pain. The number two reason we see patients is digestive problems. And so if we can get the digestive system working physically and we can get the right chemistry in the body, at least take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. But we'll do a whole nutrition workup on you. If you're a patient, we can do it over the phone if we need to. If you're not local, I know this show is heard all over the world. We can do a nutrition workup on you and then give some recommendations as well. Physical stress, we talk about that a lot. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. One leg is shorter than the other. Your shoes are wearing out unevenly. That's a good sign that your spine's out of alignment. Headaches. So many times we have to do physical work with the patient to realign all the bones, unpinch the nerves. Then we check the digestive system, and then we check the diet as well. So make the other stresses easier to deal with by getting your body healthy. And that's the key, because again, we can't avoid everything, but we can avoid some things. And that's what I want you to understand. And sometimes I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall when it comes to this, is if you're not healthy, that's going to cause other things to go wrong. If you're healthy, it's going to cause other things to go right. So the biggest complaint we get in my offices is, why didn't I do this sooner? Why have I been suffering all these years? And the answer is, I don't know. Many times people don't know. Patients come in all the time and say, I didn't know that chiropractors work with the digestive system. I said, well, some do, some don't. I didn't know chiropractors knew about nutrition. Well, some do, some don't. And you got to find a doctor that's right for you. And that's always, and I tell my patients that too. Listen, when you come in, if we do something that you're not happy with, if we're not doing something that you want us to do, you have to tell us, because we can't read your minds. And I need to know this, because if you want us to do more nutrition work and you didn't tell us that, we didn't know. If we discuss taking supplements, we discuss changing your diet, and you don't understand what we talked about, ask us. So don't go, I went there and I didn't understand something. Sometimes it gets a little complicated, a little technical, and we need your help. So please, 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 I beg you, let us know what we can do to help you get well and stay well. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we would love the opportunity for you to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Go to our website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we'll set you up a time to come see us. But again, tell us what you want. And if we're doing something that you don't want or you weren't happy with, tell us so we can fix it. That's in any relationship, by the way, not just mine and yours, but any relationship. Don't hold a grudge. Hey, listen, let's talk about this. I need you to check my feet every time I come in because I have foot pain. Okay, good. You didn't tell us that, but now we'll work on that. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com. Offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We take people with all insurances, no insurances. We work around your insurance protocols. Car accidents, sports injuries. I've never seen a car damaged where the occupants weren't, ever, because you're not as tough as your car. So if you want to make an appointment, again, drjoeesposito.com. If you have questions, send them to me through the website. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. We want to do what it takes to be your doctor so we can help get you well and keep you well. So we're talking today about how stress affects chronic diseases. And there's something I've talked about a lot that we need to talk about again, because sometimes people don't listen to every show, which shocks me. Can't imagine that somebody wouldn't listen to every show I've ever done and every lecture we've ever done. But we want to talk about how the bacteria in your colon affects your immune system. And this is really important because so many of you all day, every day, are destroying the bacteria in your colon. You're eating things like commercial meats and commercial dairy products, which are loaded with antibiotics. You're drinking fluorinated water. Why do we put fluorine in the water? To kill off and chlorine. We put it in there to kill off the viruses, germs, and bacteria. Chlorine especially. And so you're in a swimming pool. You're in the shower. If you take a shower, a hot shower, you absorb about as much chlorine as drinking 8 glasses of water because your pores open up. You absorb the chlorine gases. Now, chlorine is a toxic gas. It's used in warfare. It's used to kill pool junk. I mean, people, you ever go to one of these water parks, it smells like chlorine. Why? Because everybody's washing their dirty parts in the pool, and they're peeing in the pool, and we dump a bunch of chlorine in there to kill the bacteria. Well, if you're drinking chlorine or absorbing it through your skin, you're killing off the bacteria. You have good bacteria and bad bacteria in your body. You're killing off both. And so science has confirmed that a balanced gut, where good bacteria outnumber the bad bacteria, is linked to a stronger immune system. The good bacteria can also amplify the effects of things like cancer immunotherapy treatments. Why isn't this being taught? Why isn't this discussed in every cancer center in the world, in every heart disease center in the world, in every digestive system center in the world, every hospital, every school? So we know if we have the right balance of bacteria, it's going to help our immune system. And nobody talks about it. How many people have cancer? Raise your hands. How many people have ever been told that if we have more good bacteria than bad bacteria, it can actually enhance your cancer treatments? Anybody ever told that? I'm guessing not. The results are published in a journal Science. Now, lots of research on cancer and immunotherapy is being done. This is the new direction that we're going in cancer research. Instead of just killing off the disease, let's get the body healthy so that the body solves the problem itself. This was interesting. Mice were purchased from one laboratory called Jackson Laboratory and had a more notably robust immune system with small tumors when small tumors were implanted under their skin. Another group of mice were bought from another tech, Taconic, I think it's pronounced, and they had weak immune systems. When the researchers put the mice with the good immune systems with the mice with the bad immune systems for just 3 weeks, their immune systems balanced out. The bacteria from the healthy mice got into the bacteria with the weak immune systems and actually changed their immune system. So what this is suggesting is that if you're healthy, you will help other people become healthy just by being around them. And if you're sick, you want to be around healthy people. And one of the problems, and this is a speculation from the research here, is that when you're sick, what are you surrounded by? Other sick people. They don't have the good bacteria. They don't have the healthy, what's called a flora, to help you get healthy. So it's important to stay around healthy people. Or better yet, why don't you just be the healthy person that everybody wants to be around? Gut bacteria influence the differentiation and function of systemic T cells, which respond faster and more efficiently to stimuli. T cells are cells in your body that train the other cells. They teach the other cells to do their job. And if your T cells are weak, they're not going to train the other cells to do a good job. When your gut bacteria is healthy, it makes the T cells healthier. They tested the theory. They took microbes that were responsible for the improved immune response, and they transferred fecal matter from the healthy mice to the sick mice. And the sick mice had a stronger immune response and a slower tumor growth. So this fecal transplant, I know it sounds a little bizarre, but it really is a new trend in healthcare, and it's also a trend in weight loss. What we find is that fat people, and I used to be fat, so I can say the F word on the radio, fat people have different bacteria in their colon than skinny people. And what they've done is they've taken the fecal matter, it's a little gross, they've taken the fecal matter from skinny people and put it in fat people's colons, and those people start to lose weight. The bacteria are ruling the roost. Of your DNA, about between 95 and 99% of all the DNA in your body is not human. It's bacteria. You are way more bacteria than you are human. And if we have good bacteria, we have a healthy body. If we have bad bacteria, we don't. And with the fecal transfer as soon as 5 days, they saw that the tumor growth had slowed down and the immune system had increased after doing this fecal transplant. So it's pretty wild stuff that we're seeing here. And how do you build up a healthy bacteria in your colon? Number one is stop killing off the bad bacteria, killing off the good bacteria. We talked about meats and dairy products loaded with antibiotics, water, chlorine. If you have to take antibiotics, and sometimes you do, I'm not saying you don't ever take antibiotics, but if you do take antibiotics, make sure you're taking probiotics. Probiotics are good bacteria. I mean, look at the words. Anti means against. Biotic means life. Pro means in favor of. Biotic means life. Probiotics are in favor of life. Antibiotics are killing life. And so taking a good probiotic. I put probiotics in the Dr. Joe's Super Greens and the Dr. Joe's Essential Source. So every time you take Super Greens and Essential Source, you're getting some probiotics. We also put something in there called prebiotics. Prebiotics feed the bacteria. They're not the bacteria, but it's food for the bacteria. Not food for you, food for the bacteria in your colon so that they can eat and multiply and grow and be strong. So in my Super Greens and my Essential Source, aside from having the minimum amount of nutrients that you need every day, we've added prebiotics and probiotics. You can get that from eating fruits and vegetables. Things like inulin, fructooligosaccharides. These are all prebiotics. Where do you get them from? Artichokes, vegetables, nuts, seeds. It's going to feed the bacteria in your colon. Super Greens and Essential Source, the two supplements I recommend, feed the bacteria in your colon. So if you can stop killing them off and you can start to build them up, the chances are you're going to be a whole lot healthier. It's not hard to do, folks. It's really easy. It's just different. And you know, people say, well, don't you miss certain things? Don't you miss meats and meatball sandwiches and ice cream sundaes? And the answer is, yes, I do. However, knowing what I know, I wouldn't do it again. Because if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. It's just that simple. A new discovery by a team of research, University of Virginia, may call for a reassessment of basic assumptions of neuroimmunology. That's the study of the nervous system and the immune system. A direct link between the brain and the immune system via the lymphatic system, not previously known to exist, was found. Similar to blood vessels that carry blood through the body, lymphatic vessels carry immune cells through the body. And it's becoming increasingly clear that your immune system and your gut microbes are intricately linked. Autism, for example, is associated with gastrointestinal problems. This excited me. This is the first time I've seen research documenting what I've been teaching you for the past 30 years. If somebody has acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, the stomach is not breaking proteins into amino acids properly. And so the amino acids or the proteins pass into the small intestine partially digested, where essentially they rot. And that causes bad things, bad gases and rotten byproducts to occur, which can actually poison the bacteria in your colon. Finally, there's researchers out of University of Virginia saying that there's a connection between your gut and your brain and things like autism. Because every autistic patient I've ever had, everybody with ADD, anxiety, depression, bipolar, every case I've ever seen in over 30 years, 32 years of practice, has a digestive component that's never been addressed. And many times it's the stomach pushing up against the diaphragm, and we gently pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. We get them on good food like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. We get them on other supplements, and we see dramatic changes. In most cases, not all, but most, of the depression, of the ADD, of the ADHD, of the anxiety. So if you have any of these conditions, folks, think about your digestive system. Do you have a lot of acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating? Chances are you do. And if you don't know what to do about it, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and you can read, go on to blog, and I think it's the 4th or 5th or 6th article down. It's on GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. And it talks about the techniques that we use in our offices to gently pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm and allow the body to return to its normal function, to digest proteins into amino acids so you can produce the neurotransmitters. If that's a lot of chemistry, read the article. It's pretty simple to do that. So in order to get well, in order to deal with stress, because that's our topic today, stress and diseases, you have to have a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. So nervous system, that's what we chiropractors deal with all day, every day. Pinched nerves, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Digestive system could be the stomach pushed up against the diaphragm, and then good nutrition, at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Absolute minimum, those supplements. If you need more supplements, we're more than happy to do a nutritional workup with you. We can do it over the phone. We can do it on Skype. We can do it in person to see what you need to get well and stay well. And that's why it's so important you bring your kids to us as well, because if kids are healthy, they stay healthy. If they're not healthy, they're going to be sick for the rest of their lives, chances are. So, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love to be your doctors. So go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we'll set you up a time to come see us. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances. We work around your insurance parameters, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp injuries. Stop suffering needlessly. The biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I listen to you sooner, Dr. Joe? And I have people all the time, Dr. Joe, I've listened to you for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I've listened to you for 20 years. I've read your old books, your new books. I've been on your website. I don't know why I waited so long. So stop suffering and make the move now. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com. We'll set you up a time to come see us. Again, we have offices Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Bring your concerns and let us know what you want, because I know what you need, but it may not be what you want. And I'll convince you that I'm right, but I've got to get you there first. So we want the opportunity to get you well and keep you well. drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Hey, folks, thank you so much for listening. If I don't say this enough, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. Thanks for telling your friends. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. We'll talk to you next time.